Hi, podcast listeners. How are you doing? It's me again, teacher Luis Simancas, and I'm coming to you once again with another free talk. And this time it's gonna be for the textbook series Network, book number 4, unit number 6, which is about regrets and wishes about the past, and also expressing feelings. As always, remember to listen to each question carefully. Once you understand what I'm asking, pause the video and practice giving your own response, conveying or using all of the grammar, all of the vocabularies, all of the expressions that we learn in class, alright? Be confident, make a lot of eye contact, use your body language, smile, be positive, and I guarantee you're gonna do a great job, alright? So, let's get started. The first question is going to be, what is something you regret about your past, and how do you think that experience affected your current life? Well, I have two big regrets in my life. One is academic related, and the other one is job related. First, I wish my grandparents had been able to afford sending me to college right after I finished high school. You know, they were kind of short on money, so they didn't have enough to send me to the university right after I finished high school. So I had to wait until I turned like 26, and I was working, and then I was able to pay for my own education. But if they had been able to afford sending me to college, I would have become a professional at the age of 23, and by now I would have become a not only a professional, but I would have gotten a specialization or possibly a master's degree. So that's something I regret, not being able to go to college at the age of 17. I had to wait for like 7 years to go to college. And the other wish, or my other regret, is job related. When I started being a teacher, I was afraid of making mistakes. I was only following the rules. I was only following the old method that most teachers were doing, sticking to the book, following the same listening and repeating thing, not giving the student the chance to, enjoy English for real and expose them to real content, and using some, creative techniques and things like that. I was afraid of making mistakes, so I didn't use any of these things. And as a result, my classes, even though my students enjoyed the classes, they were not learning as much as they could, and some of them were not even enjoying the classes. So I think if I hadn't been afraid of making mistakes when I started being a teacher, I would have used a lot more techniques, a lot more strategies, and also my student would have enjoyed my classes a lot more, and they would have learned a lot more. Okay, now I'm going to ask the question on page 37, exercise 3, which is about expressing feelings. Bored with, annoyed by, tired of, afraid of, suffering from, interested in, good at, bad at, worried about, and nervous about. Alright? So you're gonna use this expression in bold, or the letters in bold. I'm gonna use them to ask you questions about how you react and how you feel under different situations. So the first question is, what is something you are bored with? Well, something I'm bored with is soap operas. I can't stand, watching soap operas. I think it's stupid. Another thing I'm bored with, having to study some subjects such as math, chemistry, maybe calculus. I'm bored with those subjects. I don't like reading or, studying about it. And that's pretty much it. Okay, and now, what is something you are tired of? Oh, well, that's easy. I'm tired of, getting up early every freaking day of my life. I have a lot of responsibilities. I have a lot of financial challenges to meet. So I gotta, get up early, go to bed late at night, working and studying, and I'm tired of that. I wish I could go to bed earlier and get up a lot later. I'm tired of getting up early. Really. What is something you are afraid of? Well, one thing is I'm afraid of heights. I experienced once when I was in Bogota. I went to the top of a building there. When I looked down, I went kind of dizzy, and I kind of panicked. I had like a panic attack, and then I realized that I'm afraid of heights. And another thing is I'm afraid of failure. When I start a project, when I'm doing something, I'm always afraid of failing and making mistakes and people's criticism. So yeah, that's something I'm afraid of. Is there anything you're suffering from? Tell me about it. Well, at this very moment, well, I'm actually recovering, but I feel like I'm still suffering from chikungunya. I got that thing like 3 weeks ago, and I still feel really, really bad. So that's what I'm suffering from right now. Are you interested in something? Well, yes. Of course, I'm interested in learning languages, English especially, and I'm also interested in learning how to, and well, I'm also interested in reading and learning more about language teaching and language learning, since I'm ready to go to back to college again to study education. So I'm becoming really, really interested in all these methods and theories about second language acquisition. That's something I'm really, really interested in. What are you good at? Well, if you ask me, I must say I'm good at playing basketball. I started playing basketball at the age of 12, and I play not professionally, but I was playing in a basketball team for like 8 years, and I became really, really good at it. That's something I'm really good at playing basketball. Is there anything you feel like you are really bad at? Tell me about it. Well, as strange as it might seem, I'm pretty bad at playing soccer. I hate soccer. I don't like it. I don't like to watch it on TV. I don't like to play it. And the few times I've had to do it because it's like an activity or some game or something, man, I've just blown it up. I completely screw it up. I'm terrible at playing soccer. What are you worried about the most? Well, at this moment, I'm worried about my finances. Usually, at the end of the year, we have no classes. We have basically nothing to do. So I'm worried about what's going to happen next year. Am I going to get, as many hours as in 2012? Am I going to be hired again? What am I going to do with all the bills and my responsibilities? That's something I'm worried about right now. And of course, my health. I'm pretty concerned about my health, and that is something I'm really worried about right now. But for the most part, I'm okay. I'm okay. What are you nervous about? Well, that's a tough one. What am I nervous about? Let's see. Well, I would say I'm nervous about failing, as I mentioned before, failing, not being up to the standard, letting people down. That makes me nervous. Sometimes, when I have to take some standardized tests, some like really, really important tests, I get nervous. Even though I know the topics and I know what I have to do, I get nervous. I'm nervous about taking tests and things like that. Alright, now, if you hadn't studied English, what language would you have studied instead? If you hadn't studied English, what language would you have studied instead? Shortly before I started learning English, I was already into learning French. But then, I began to study tourism, and everybody said that learning English, I would have been better off if I studied English. So that's what I did. But if I hadn't studied English, if I hadn't had to study English, I would have studied French. That's definitely what I would have studied, French. Alright, good job guys. As always, piece of advice, Remember that the purpose of these videos, this listening and speaking video practice, is to give you the chance, the opportunity to become familiar with the questions and practice in advance, to have a lot of time to practice, so you eventually you will become able to answer the questions easily and automatically. Don't try to memorize the questions, don't try to memorize the answers, just try to understand them and answer the questions as casually and effortlessly and spontaneously as you can. If at first it's hard for you, don't worry, just go back, listen again, and try over and over and over. As always, my suggestion is listen to the video at least 30 to 60 minutes a day. 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes after lunch, 15 minutes or 20 minutes before going to bed. That way you will be, reviewing and recycling the grammar and the vocabularies for over 40 minutes to 60 minutes every day. You got to be committed, you got to be responsible on your own learning, alright? It's completely up to you. Thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you next time. Keep tuned, and hopefully I'll be posting some more videos in the future. Until next time, bye.